Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all everywhere. I'm Tanetta, and so I'm coming to you to really talk about healthy lifestyles. We've talked about all kind of things. I've shared my testimonies with you. I've shared all the things that I've gone through. Well, not everything, but all the things that are significant and that were in my prayer closet for me to share. So today I'm just going to, this is going to be really fast, really it is. Just about what's to come and just about healthy lifestyles and positive changes. And so for that, I'm really not like in the position of this. Sorry. All right, so there you go. Y'all know I'm not going to edit that, right? So anyway, so just making sure that you are really taking care of yourself, especially if you found yourself in any of the things that I shared with you. That's a lot to deal with. And so because of that, if you haven't did anything about it, I want you to do something about it. And so just a disclaimer is to remember that everything that's happening here on social media is no excuse for not finding a professional. So it's important that you find a professional because I can't give you all of the things that you need on social media. I can't even be a licensed therapist to say, oh, we're going to have therapy today. No, we're not. And so for the record, I am an associate LPCC, but I'm an APCC. And I do have a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling with an emphasis in psychiatric counseling. And so I'm also a life coach and an evangelist. So that's just a little bit about me. And so but it doesn't give me the right to actually give you therapy. So I'm not giving you therapy over the internet. That's just something that I think it's important for you to do. Find a therapist, and I'm going to get into that a little bit down the road. I'm 2 minutes in, so I really want to get going. If you like anything that I have to say, please go ahead and like that so other people can see it as well. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. You can do it towards the end. Make sure you really want to be a committed part of this. Hit the bell if you want to be notified every single time that a new video goes up. I try to get videos up on the weekend. It doesn't always happen, especially when things are going on intensely with the family. So yeah, but nevertheless, healthy lifestyles and positive changes. I do have my cheat sheets down there, so I'll be looking down, and that's okay. Some self-care. Going forward, we're talking about some self-care, changing the mindset. Changing the mindset is going to be necessity. It's going to be a necessity because you have the power in your thoughts. You also have the power in what you speak. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more. I do have a Christian background, so I will be adding some scripture foundation. Take it as you need it. If you're not a believer, keep it moving. If it sounds good to you, use it as a proverb. I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to shove Christianity down your throat. I just don't believe in that. So I just plant seeds, and if you like it, I'm here, and that's that. So anyway, we're going to talk about breaking unhealthy practices, like things that you've been doing in relationships in your life that have been really unhealthy. And maybe it's not because you're just toxic in a way that just says, oh, I'm just terrible, but maybe it's because you don't know any better. Nobody's taught you anything, and because nobody's taught you, you just don't know. And then we have to be careful about who's teaching us, because everybody has an opinion about something, even me. So everything that I say isn't going to be good enough for everybody. We all have our own temperaments, our own styles, our own belief systems, our own personal beliefs, our own religion or spiritual beliefs. So I want to talk a little bit more about capturing your self-confidence and loving yourself, your self-love. So many of these positive changes could be the deal breaker on how you've been approaching life. And I, again, take advice that applies to you, but and this is a nugget that I have, not just for me, but take advice that applies to you, but be open to at least listening, maybe applying it. And then from that point, you can make a decision to accept it or reject it. My phones are going crazy. Okay, so let's just keep this party going. So self-love, self-confidence, really want to go over loving yourself, taking advice from other people, could take it as, apply it as it should be, either accepted or rejected. Going through a little bit of overcoming obstacles and trauma experiences, what that is and how that affects our lives. Getting help and support. This is critical. It's crucial. Getting help and the support, whether it's maybe a combination of all of the above, and that would be friends, family, people who can hold you accountable for the things that you do. Journaling, being able to write it down and then going back to reread it. I have a friend that journals, and then at the end of the week she goes back to see everything that she's gone over in the week. I also have a family member who journals, and by the end of the month they reflect on everything that they've done to see have they accomplished the goal that they've set to make sure that they're on path, that they stay on track. And I think those are really brilliant ideas. I'm consider adopting in myself. Breathing techniques. I'm going to get into breathing techniques and how that really helps, and how we naturally breathe. Normally, most of us breathe a little shallow, and how healthy breathing could help us a whole lot. And then professional assistance. Again, I just really want to dig deep in that, because this is a disclaimer. I don't care if it's me or anybody else. I don't care if they are a doctor. What you get on these little sessions in social media is no cure-all, and it's not going to be the therapeutic environment. You need to discuss. You need to go backwards and forth. You need to be able to be listened to, questions answered, etc. You need to feel the whole body language of your professional. Your professional could be a spiritual counselor if that's your belief system. And that's anybody, whatever spirituality that you're into, shama, or a pastor, a bishop, an evangelist, anyone from the spiritual arena. But I would suggest that it be someone who does have the gift in it, or maybe they have some education in counseling to some degree, because counseling ain't easy, and I don't want someone gearing you in the wrong direction just because of their titles. And so that brings me to actually a therapist, and a therapist could be an LPCC, an MFT, or an LSW. Those are usually the initials you see at the end of their names, just letting you know what kind of license that they're holding. If they're a licensed professional clinical counselor, if they're a marriage family therapist, or a licensed social worker. You can also accept associates, which would be like I'm an associate, like an APCC or an AFT, AMFT, or ASW, which is saying we are associates. And I'm not sure how that works nationwide. But I know in California, we need to have supervision, and we're allowed to practice our skills. And I would really take advantage if you're going to be seen by an associate one. The rate is probably lower. Two, they're with a team. That associate has to run things by a supervisor, or in some spectrums there, in some facilities, they even run things as a group so that everyone can learn from the situation and apply what they know. So my specialty might be narcissist. It's not, but my specialty might be narcissist, and my modality might be CBT. And so I understand cognitive behavioral therapy, and I understand the way a narcissist is. But my counterpart, she or he may be excellent with understanding overall personality disorders, because narcissist is, but that might be their forte. Like, this is everything they do, and so they would understand it much clearer and better than I would. And so if they're sitting in the circle, they'd be able to interject and say, well, what's best is, or this medication is what's been happening, or anything to that nature. So I'm in my car and I'm holding my phone, so bear with me. And also want to talk about addiction. So addictions is a part of self-medicating, and if you're self-medicating, get some help. Recovery is possible. Please get some help, because no one can help you with a lot of the other things that you have going on if you are in an addiction. The addiction has to be subdued first. It has to be. So yeah. So I never like to end things without giving you a little something to take on the way, to kind of apply. And this was just an overview of what we're going to be digging into, because I'm excited about healthy lifestyles and positive changes. And so I wanted to give you something. So if you're going through any of the things that you've identified in my last videos or anything to that nature, I wanted to let you know, relax. Please relax. Take some deep breaths. Take some deep breaths and be able to relax. Find a time that you can relax, whether it's time before bed, relaxing, early in the morning. Just take the time to relax. Do something fun for you. I take myself out. I really enjoy taking myself out. I do not feel so conscientious about that. I do not feel embarrassed. It is what pleases me. And I actually send myself roses, because nobody loves me better than me. And so I want you to love yourself as well. So do something for yourself. Go get a massage. Do something. Also, consider counseling. Maybe consider the counseling styles. Think about it really hard. Think about if you've been in a counseling situation and you go, I tried that, it don't work for me. Maybe you have the wrong modality. So I encourage you. I will be doing a modality, but for now, I encourage you to look on YouTube. There are wonderful people talking about modalities, therapy modalities, and so it will help you know what you like and what you don't like in therapy. It will help you understand if you rather somebody just sitting there listening to you, or someone helping you realize your own inner strengths. That is my specialty modality. If that's what you like, then cool. If you're looking for somebody to give you instant feedback, that's different. So you want to know all of these modalities. Or if you just feel like, I just really want to vent some stuff out, then okay. Also, if you talk to some therapists, you have the right to call them on the phone and say, hey, what modality do you use? And this is my situation, and I am hoping to, you might choose a modality that does not work for that particular issue that you have. And so if that's the case, that therapist may say, look, motivational interviewing is probably what's best. We don't practice tough love anymore, or something to that extent, to say it's okay to make mistakes. So this is what we're practicing. And in your situation, it has to be okay to make those mistakes. Or it could be that you're like, no, buddy, I need somebody to hold me accountable all the time. And so they'll go over those things with you and tell you what their forte is and what they can and cannot do. So please, I encourage you, make the phone calls. You are just as entitled to interview a therapist as to just get one, especially if you're in a healthcare organization that it's hard to leave one and go to another. Mental health services can be real tricky with just jumping from one person to another. And if you, I'm trying to look. If you're struggling with procrastination, if you're struggling with it, and it's not because you're just so busy, it's because you just struggle with it. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, but I want you to do something like write out a script or write out an agenda on how you're going to get things done, and allow yourself to do it. If you have 20 things on a list, allow yourself to say, I'm going to get 3 of these things done today or this week, and write it out, the time, whatever you're going to do to make sure that it happens. So that's all I got for you on healthy lifestyles and positive changes. Look forward to the videos on them to come. I am anxious to tell you how I made some positive changes, and I am still making positive changes. I think the best therapists are the therapists that have actually been through it. I've been through it. I've gone through the changes, and I continue to grow. It's just my opinion and my philosophy, my belief that if someone hasn't actually been through something to identify with, they don't understand the walk the same way. And I want to make sure that I identify with you, and that I'm able to understand what you're going through as well. Okay, so I love you much. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to. Like it, share it. Please share. I'm looking forward to having more intimate talks with you about different subjects. And if you want to send me things, I could be reached at bemotivatedtm@gmail.com. That's bemotivatedtm@gmail.com. I'm Tanetta, and thanks.